Warning. This podcast may contain spoilers from whatever TV show or movie is mentioned. Please listen at your own discretion. Welcome to Viewers Anonymous.
Yo, what's going on? I am Scoots Bronson.
And I am S. Foster.
That's right. And you tuned into another episode of the Viewers Anonymous podcast where we give you our very own reviews and takes of movies and TV straight out of Hollywood. What's going on with you, my guy?
Man. Can't call it, man. Just another day in the lab, man. Excited to do this one, man. This is you know what I'm saying? We had to we had to go back in the lab and switch some stuff up, man, to get this one out in the world. Yeah. So but also, man, it's one of those things where I'm really, really excited to hear your opinion because this is one of those ones where, man, watching this, I was like, damn. I don't know if you ever do this shit, but sometimes I be watching shit like, boy, I wonder what school's gonna think about this.
I definitely
do that shit. But
but
anyway,
I see shit on like Instagram and Twitter and shit, and I know it's some shit that you fuck with. I'm like, yeah, let me send this to him. Like, I want to see what he gonna say about this one.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. But how you feeling though? Everything good with you?
Oh man, everything is great, man. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to stay warm, man. We got that snow finally, so hopefully it's just gonna be a little bit and it's not gonna come down too hard on us, but it's out there. It is out there.
Keep that up north, boy.
Man, listen, yes, keep it up north. Take that shit to Canada. We don't want it. We don't want it.
You're trying to go further north. You're like,
yeah, go all the way north. We don't want that shit at all. First, we had 2 days of Arctic winds, so it went down into like the single digits, and it was like, I think for like 2 days straight, the high was like 7 and 8 or something like that. So it was cold, and then shit, it warmed up the next day, got to like 20. So everybody was excited, and then next thing you know, you wake up, snow everywhere.
That's the worst.
It hit us bad, man. So yeah, it ain't a lot though, so that's a good thing. But it's enough to. It was enough to shovel. So.
All right, you can have that.
I don't want it. I don't want it. But if anybody is interested in, what I'm saying, seeing snow, or if you like snow or whatever, come on down to Ohio. We got it for you. So, do you got anything for what we watching?
I do, actually.
All right, man. Well, let's get into it.
Let's do it. What we watching?
What we watching?
Oh man, shout out to Casey for that beat, man. That bad boy nice. So what you got, bro?
All right, man. So I got the fourth installment of HBO Max. I hate that they changed the name, but anyway, Max TV series, True Detective, Night Country. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Starring Jodie Foster. I've been waiting on it. Yo, let me tell you something. For me personally, I've liked all 3 seasons of True Detective. I think that the cases that they take on is obviously is never a normal case. And in this case, like they up in Alaska is one of those situations where, you got like the 30 days a night type of thing. So like, and then you start to see like the strange stuff happening. Like this dude was, he was out trying to hunt like I don't know if it was an elk, could have been an elk, or maybe it was just a regular deer, but it was just big as fuck because it was CGI. And like they just kind of like looked. And then all of a sudden, these bad boys just take off and jump off a ledge. It's like 50 of them. And it's like, that's when when the animals start acting up, there's something crazy coming. And like, it seems something very supernatural, like because like the shit don't make sense. And like the first episode was just basically like, yeah, they're introducing you to the characters, but like there's like this facility, and it's like they are doing like some kind of research. And so I don't know, maybe it's like 8 people.
Mm-hmm.
All these motherfuckers are just missing. Like they didn't take no bags with them. They left all their stuff. Like the people just missing. And like the way the episode ended, the first episode was like this lady that lives out pretty much by herself. And this boy was like just like in like on the ice or whatever.
Right.
So then he ended up like pointing, and so the lady go over there, and it's like I think it was 3 bodies like frozen in the water. And so the police come out there and they're like, "Yo, how did you find these bodies?" And she said, "Such and such showed them to me." And they was like, you know, I forget what her name was, but they were like, "Ma'am, such and such," which was her son. They was like, "Yo, your son is dead."
Mm-hmm.
And so the person that she was seeing showing her the body was her son, and her son is dead. So yo, I'm just telling you, I can tell this shit is about to be, yo. If y'all never got into True Detective, and this is the thing, you don't have to watch out the first 3 seasons because they're all different characters, they're all in different places, they don't really correlate like that. So, but if y'all into some, like I said, it's only 1 episode out. If you into some creepy, you know what I mean, type of detective type shit,
Mm-hmm.
check out True Detective Night Country.
Okay, then that's what's up. That's what's up. So I do not have a what we watching
Okay.
because I was going to start the second season of Reacher.
Uh,
However, I came up with a cool ass idea. So what
all
I
right.
want to do is I want to watch Reacher with the fans, man. I want to watch Reacher with the people who listen to the pod. So this is an invitation for anybody that's listening. It's what? Today is Tuesday. So no, I'm sorry, today's Friday.
Think about
Forgive me, y'all. Today is Friday.
it.
So Sunday night, 7 o'clock. If y'all not doing anything, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Excuse me, if you guys aren't doing anything, join me on my Twitch channel. You can go to my link tree and you can join me there. It's in there. And if not, I'll make sure I put it in the description of this podcast. But Sunday night, 7 p.m., I'm going to be live streaming Reacher, the second season on Twitch. So I'm going to be watching it there. You'll be able to watch me watching it, and you'll be able to watch it with me. Y'all can, you know what I'm saying, you'll be able to comment, you know what I'm saying, in the chat so we can chat about it and all that other stuff. I'll be able to actually reply to you guys instead of chatting back. So if I, see some comments or whatever, I could say something. Yeah, man, it's gonna be a good time. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying, you guys jump in with me. But like I said, I'll make sure I put my Twitch link in there so you guys can join in. Sunday at 7, man. I'm getting to it.
What's up, man?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So hopefully we can get through the whole season, and then if not, you know what I'm saying, we might be able to pick it back up another day if we can't get through the whole season. But we're gonna see how far we get. But that's what I want to do, man. I wanna watch something with the people. So get ready, y'all.
That'd be nice there.
Absolutely, man. So this episode is a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? We have a very interesting episode for you guys, man. This is a film by the great Martin Scorsese. Um it stars Robert De Niro, Leonardo DiCaprio. Hold on, because I don't know the lady's name, and I want to
Lily
yeah.
Gladstone.
Who?
Lily Gladstone.
Yeah, Lily Gladstone. You know her she has like a cousin or something who's like a famous artist.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was looking her up. I'm like, man, that's pretty cool. And Tantu Cardinal, shout out to her because she plays Molly's mother in this movie. But she's also in the new Marvel show Echo. She plays Echo's grandmother in that
Oh,
one.
okay.
So yeah, she getting some work right now, man. She doing her thing right now. So shout out to Tantu Cardinal for sure.
Shoot,
John Lithgow is
Jessica.
in this. Brandon Fraser is in this. Um, I'm trying to see who else is in this. Jesse Plemons is in this. Um, that's really all the people that I know by face. But basically, this movie is about it's the Osage tribe. I think that's how you pronounce it. I thought it was Osage, but they were saying Osage, so we gonna roll with that. But it was basically about the Osage tribe who was forced on land by some white people, and what ended up happening was they ended up striking oil once they got on that land. They're in Oklahoma, by the way, too. But they pretty much ended up striking oil while they were on that land. Once they struck the oil, that pretty much brought all of the oil barons and everything over there to them. They paid them money and everything, and it kind of brought like some wealth to the Osage people. And so they basically was like one of the wealthiest. I think they said like they was some of the wealthiest people in America, and basically they were in Osage County in Oklahoma, and what ended up happening was the white members of the area were pretty much like marrying into their tribal or marrying the women of that, you know what I'm saying, place or whatever, and pretty much like killing them off. And then like other people were killing off some of the, like the men and shit like that. And they were basically like not necessarily stealing, because technically you ain't stealing because that's your wife, but they were like basically committing insurance fraud.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They was basically just like offing them and getting all the rights to all their stuff and pretty much like taking their wealth. And basically there's this one guy who they call the King of the Hill. Um but his name was William King Hale, and he was responsible for most of the murders that were in Osage County. And his nephew had ended up coming to live excuse me, he ended up coming to live in Osage County with his brother, and he pretty much was, manipulating his nephew, whose name was Ooh,
Ernest Burkhart.
Ernest. Yep, Ernest Burkhart. He ended up marrying an Osage lady named Molly, and he was basically manipulating Ernest to pretty much get everything in, what I'm saying, his name, and he was trying to help him kill Molly. But what was crazy was that they were dying from diseases and everything else like that. But these are not the diseases you would think they were dying of. They were dying from diabetes. So that was an interesting thing too. So watching this, you know what I'm saying? Usually, what I'm saying, we start off with what was your initial reactions and all that. We're not gonna go there this time. I got a question for you.
Shoot.
Do you think, well, I'm not gonna ask you do you think it is, because I'm sure you do. How do you think this affair during the Oscar season?
Damn, that's a good question. I didn't expect that to be coming. Um, with Martin usually staying in the lane that he usually stay in, he kind of stepped out. Now he does do period pieces, but not this type of period piece.
Right.
Um, I think with cancel culture and all that type stuff being the way it is, history being rewritten, they're taking um, certain parts of history out of schools.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to hide stuff. They're trying to use this whole thing of like, they don't want, white students to feel guilty for, past sins and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
they're kind of trying to take history away, but also trying to have it to be perceived as it wasn't that bad type of thing.
Right.
That's going to be the interesting part of how this movie is going to be perceived, because I do think that there were really good performances in this.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to Leo, when it comes to Lily and Robert, Jesse did a really good job too.
Yeah.
He's really coming up. Like he's fucking killing it in
He's
everything
had
he's
some
in.
movies, bro. He got
Even
some movies
even
under his belt.
even when he was in, we always talk about Lakeith and Daniel in Judas and the Black Messiah. Jesse Jesse put on in Judas and the Black
Yeah,
Messiah.
he definitely
Um,
did.
but damn, that's interesting, man. Because if if they want to go down that lane, I don't think a lot of people in that realm is. I don't know if they're going to look at the movie for what it is and enjoy the 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 art of it, or
Mm-hmm.
if they're going to look at what this movie represents.
Right.
That's going to be an interesting part because they've done slave movies and stuff before, but I think that those type of movies are kind of perceived in a different way because it's like we learned about that in school
Mm-hmm.
in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
But when it comes to Native Americans and and stories like this, like only thing I remember being told about Native Americans, other than the stupid story of the Pilgrims and shit, is the Trail of a Thousand Tears. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like a small section in the history book, and it was like boom, that shit was gone.
Mm-hmm.
But to put a story that's not, for the most part, well known, and for someone like Martin Scorsese to do it, I feel like some of them could be like, well, you just brought a story to light that a lot of people don't know,
Yeah.
and it don't make a lot of some people look good.
Right.
So it's gonna be interesting. I think that they will. Fi- that could this really caught me off guard. I feel like this may not fare that well. Um, for what it was, because I think that they'll find a movie like they do most years. They'll find a movie with some stupid ass shit like, what I'm saying, like some bullshit like Shape of Water. You know what I'm saying? And be like, oh, this is the best fucking thing we've seen, and you
The
know
fish
what I mean?
man.
I don't even know. Somebody told me what the Shape of Water was about, and I was like, "Yo, this is the dumbest shit I've ever heard." That
I
shit was
think that
like,
was the movie with the fish man where she was hoarding the fish man in the tub at her house or some shit like that. She was falling
it
in love
was
with the
something.
fish man.
It was something fucking
It was
crazy as
weird,
hell.
man.
But I feel like they'll find some weirdo shit to cling on to. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, but I hope not, because I think that this was some really good art. But also I think that this movie would be competing with something like Oppenheimer and shit like that. Oppenheimer and Barbie and all the other shit, because a lot of that shit came out around the same time.
Yeah.
So it might not fare as well. What you
Right.
think? It seemed like you
So
think opposite.
yeah. Actually not necessarily the opposite. I'm kind of on the fence, right? Um you bring up an interesting point of the shape of water and the type of movie that is, you know what I'm saying, and how it got its acclaim. I think that when we looking at a movie like this, right? When you look at who the director is, when you look at who the cast is, Leo has historically not really been given his, you know what I'm saying, his propers when it comes to award season, especially during Oscar season. De Niro has, you know what I'm saying, has, and Scorsese has as well. And so I think it'll be interesting seeing how, because of who it is behind this film and the people in the film, I think it'll be interesting as well to see how this film is taken, because
Hmm.
it's not your normal story when it comes to whites and minorities, right? Because usually it's like the whites do some bad shit, and then, you know what I'm saying, the minorities, don't really make it, so on and so forth, which is kind of what this is. But it, in a weird way, like, it always put the white people in like this decent light, right? Like, it's always like that savior who does everything and helps the minorities out and shit like that. It ain't none of that in this movie. There's no savior complex whatsoever in this movie, which is interesting. Um, I kind of was getting the gist that that's what they were trying to do with Leo, but at the same time, I don't think that was necessarily his role either. I think it was more so like he was just too plumb dumb to understand what was really going on. Um, and also, like you said, you got Oppenheimer, which I think is going to clean up. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think Oppenheimer is going to clean up. I'm actually excited to watch the Oscars this year. I think I'm definitely going to dive in this year to see what's going on, because I think Oppenheimer is going to. I'm talking about run the table. Um, but I'm definitely interested in seeing where where Killers of the Flower Moon land, because this was like this was a good movie. First and foremost, let me say that this was a good movie. The acting was superb. Um, on all sides, usually when you see certain films, you look and you be like, I don't know if they did a real good job. But like, for it to be as long as it was, and for the information that you got by watching it, I thought that was interesting. Um, so yeah, I'm on the fence, man. I don't know if it will, especially against a movie like Oppenheimer, who also had the same runtime. You know what I'm saying, or around the same runtime. Also a great, what I'm saying, director, also a great cast. Like, this is gonna be one of those ones to where if either one wins, you can't really, feel bad for the other one, because it's like they to me they neck and neck. You know what I'm saying? They neck and neck. Um, but the most interesting thing about all of this is that the Killers of the Flower Moon is an Apple production.
Hmm.
And that's where I want to see how it plays out. I want to see if they get the love, even though they're not basically a part of, what I'm saying, like the major production houses, like a Oppenheimer would be, or what I'm saying, something like that, like a Barbie would, or Barbie is, or something like that. Like, this is from Apple, so that's what I really, that's what I'm really looking and paying attention to this time around. So we'll see, man. I'm not sure, but I think that it'll do okay. I think it'll get some light for sure, but I think Oppenheimer is going to clean up for sure. Um, but initial reactions, how did you feel about this movie? What did you like about it? Let's get into it, man. What was you thinking when you seen this?
When I seen it, you know, this movie, is giving you the build up, it's giving you the slow burn. But when I say slow burn, it's giving you the slow burn to where it's still interesting. Like, it's still
Mhm.
not like it's not like the build up isn't a dull build up.
Right.
And knowing what the movie was about and seeing the trailers and everything beforehand, knowing, semi kind of what's going on, there's still a lot of shocking moments by watching it. Because
Yeah.
there's still a lot of things where it's like, damn, like I didn't know they were gonna get this in depth, or I didn't. That's like the trailers and the things that I heard, they didn't get, to the point to where it's so in depth to where you know exactly what to expect.
Hmm.
And like my initial reaction or something that I took away from it was how Ernest, I think he really was in love with Molly.
Yeah, I do too.
And I don't think he really want like I think that he was cool with the other women dying,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think he was cool with his wife dying. I think like when
Why
he
do you
first
why do you think that though? Because I kind of got a theory about why that is.
I think when he came back from the war, I think that he was like looking for a wife. And I think that he made a statement. I can't remember exactly what it was because his when he was talking when his uncle was talking to him when he first got there,
Mm-hmm.
and he was asking him about women.
What type of girls did he like? Yeah.
Yeah, what was the girls like? And I think that he was in. Well, he made it sound like he was messing with girls that wasn't white,
Yeah.
and so I think that he had an attraction for girls who wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he, because remember, like he kind of put it in the pathway to where he would come across Molly. But I think that when he saw her, I think he was like, "Oh shit!" Like I know, like I don't know. First thing that came to mind was 10 Things I Hate About You. I don't know why that one did, but like yo, they paid my dude to take the girl's sister out so dude could take her to the prom.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up falling for the girl
Right.
when he was being paid initially to date her. I think
Mm-hmm.
this was the same situation. His uncle put him up to it, but he really liked her. And
I don't know if King did that. Um, I think because the way that they had it play out was she invited him in, and I think it was her initial reaction to him that because I think she was really feeling him. You know what I'm
no,
saying?
but you got to remember though. So when he was hurt, I guess you call it a taxi or
Yeah,
just
cab
driver or
driver.
whatever. He kept trying to initiate conversation with her.
Right.
Like you know what I'm saying? Like he would say, things like, "Well, I know you're probably thinking I'm a handsome devil or some shit like that." Like
Mm-hmm.
he kept trying to get her
You shoot
attention,
a shot. Yeah.
and the more and more he kept fucking with her, the more and more she was like, "You know what? Maybe I'll invite him in today."
Mm-hmm.
Because he gave her a ride a few times before she actually invited him in.
Right.
So I think that with him kept pursuing her and she was playing hard to get in the beginning, and then she was like, "Dang, you know what? I kind of do fuck with this dude. I'm gonna invite him in and see where this shit goes." But I think that William put him onto her because he already had somebody on her sisters and shit like that. So it's like he was trying to get like that whole family's stuff, and she
Mm-hmm.
was like the last, you know, I don't know, prodigy or whatever the
No,
fuck you
no
want to
pun
call it.
intended. Last of the Mohicans.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So he was like, I'm putting you on her because, what I'm saying, she's the one that we haven't been able to get yet.
Mm-hmm.
Because we kind of need the whole family to be able to do this whole takeover that we want to do.
Yeah, because he was a piece of shit, bro.
Oh man, straight up piece of shit.
Hell was King was diabolical, man. So for me, right, the interesting thing in this in my initial reaction was I was in shock. And the reason I was in shock is because I've I've never seen like a movie where this shit is like just blatantly telling the truth.
Okay.
Usually it's like some cover up shit or you know what I'm saying, they'll throw little shit here and here. This shit was just like on some blatant truth. Like the only thing missing out of this shit was them doing the $5 Indian shit. Like these motherfuckers they was getting busy. I thought what was interesting was that they, you know what I'm saying, like they made sure they added in historical fact. Like they talked about Tulsa. Um they also had the Ku Klux Klan in there.
Hmm.
You know, the beginning of the FBI. Because remember when Jesse Plemons' character had came and he was like, "I'm from the Bureau of Investigation." He was like, "Yeah." He was like, "What is that?" He like, "What are you, a Pinkerton?" He thinking he a Pinkerton, and he like, "Nah, I ain't no Pinkerton. I'm with the government, my nigga." And you know what I'm saying? Like Ernest just started losing his shit because he like, "Oh man, all this shit is on me now." Um, so I thought that was interesting to see that. One thing I also noticed too though was, yo, this fuck nigga J. Edgar Hoover, bro, was alive during this shit.
Yeah.
That shit is crazy as fuck to me, bro.
Why?
And then, cause I'm gonna tell you
Really?
why. Because the time period of everything that had happened, it seems so far fucking away from COINTELPRO 60s and 70s, right? But I'm thinking, nigga, that's only 30 fucking years.
Well, yeah, because you got to think about it. So this was the 1920s.
Yeah, this was
That
World War
was
One.
see J. Edgar Hoover started. That's
Yeah,
why they got a building named out there because he
yeah.
started it. But you got
Well,
to think.
he didn't.
You know who his first
He
victim
co-founded it.
was?
He co-founded it.
Well, either way, he was one of the founders.
Yeah.
Remember the first person that he used COINTELPRO on? It was Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey. That was in the
Bro,
30s.
you right, but it was way before that, bro. It had to be. I mean, the tactics I'm saying was way before that, bro. Cause the shit that they was doing, like this nigga hired a Indian man, well, a native man. I don't want to say Indian, a native man to be a fucking uh he was also working with the bureau, remember? And like he was going around telling them, like, yeah, you know, I'm here for my cousin and my family and shit. He infiltrating these motherfuckers and getting all kind of information. I'm like, bro, these motherfuckers was slick as shit. You know how genius that was?
Yeah.
That shit was crazy, man. But no, it just it really, like, things like this for me, it really puts into perspective, right? Like, I'm 35, I'll be 36 this year. I'm thinking of everything that would like happen in my lifetime, so up until now, right? And then I'm putting
Mhm.
it in the perspective of that. That means, like, if you think about how fast shit happens, this motherfucker was only, he wasn't even a director yet. He was like, I think that he called him like Lieutenant Hoover or something like that. Bro, by the time the 40s and the 50s and the 60s and shit pass up, well, once the 60s get there, this nigga like the director. That shit was crazy as fuck to me just thinking about that shit, bro. Um, and then not only that, like, what was also weird was the fact that like these niggas was like really living on some cowboy shit. And I think that's what threw me off too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like I
Like
was sitting here trying to.
that's what made it kind of weird for me too, because I'm forgetting that this is the 20s and the 30s.
Yeah. And see, and I was right, but I was on the thing. He pulled COINTELPRO on Marcus Garvey in 1923
Mm-hmm.
because in 1923 Marcus Garvey was convicted of mail fraud.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say, bro. It
So
would have
yeah,
had to be
so
before
this
that.
is around the same time.
Yeah.
This is around the same time.
And see, that's what I'm saying. Like, it was so much going on around this time. So, like, shit like this, bro. Like, imagine how many tribes and shit really lost everything that they had because, like, these people was just marrying into these families just to get land and resources and all of this. But that's crazy. I mean, like, they was offing these people left and right, bro.
Yeah.
But I will say this though, you know what I'm saying? No disrespect to my pale skin, you know what I'm saying, companions out there. I respect y'all. I got love for y'all because I got love for everybody. But it made me happy to see white people in maids clothes. I was I was excited about that. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't mad at that. You know, I was like, damn, that's all right. You know what I'm saying? They had these white folks working for them. That was cool. You know what I'm saying? It was cool to see some shit like that for a change, man. What I thought was weird too, though. You got all this money around. I ain't seen not one nigga in the movie.
And they only brought up
Toast.
Negroes 2 times. We never seen one.
That's what I'm saying.
Like even when William Hale was in there
Getting the shade.
talking to getting the shave,
Mm-hmm.
he was like I think I seen somebody in a Negro, doing such and such or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, and then the part that tripped me out was they showed you a scene being played out of what he was talking about, but not one damn black person.
That's what I'm saying. Yo,
And I was
okay.
like, okay.
Real quick though. Cause I'm curious, bro. How the fuck did they have Fox News in the 20s? And Rupert Murdoch started that shit. That was weird. Did you okay? So you remember when they was in the movie theater watching the news, right? Because they was talking about Tulsa.
Yes, they were talking about Tulsa. Yeah.
If you go back and rewatch that, it said Fox News.
Hold on.
That shit was weird, bro. And Rupert Murdoch started Fox, the channel, Fox News, all that shit. He started that.
Okay, no way. Okay, so Fox News wasn't launched in 1996. So let me see when Fox
What I'm
started.
saying. In the what I want to say like that, maybe the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, this says 86.
You mean to tell me 40 years before that they had Fox News? Let me get the fuck on, man.
I didn't see that. I must have
You didn't
missed
see that? That stuck out to me like a sore thumb. If
No,
you
I
go
mean
back,
I saw
and watch that thing,
the
it say Fox News.
oh see I didn't see that. I saw when they show when Tulsa being burnt
Mhm.
down and all that type stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't see anything about Fox News. I must
Yeah,
have
it so like when before they even get to the part when it's just like starting the thing, the intro thing says Fox News, and then when they bring the words up in between what they like the pictures and shit, because it was like silent movie time around this time, but when they bring the words up, it got Fox News at the bottom. I said, man, that was interesting that they put that in there. Maybe it's a little propaganda, but who knows? So what did you think about I'm sorry, before we move on, Ernest. Because I was getting Ernest. I think that Ernest was I think that he was just basically trying to find his way, right? I think that I agree with you, he did love Molly for sure. But I don't think he understood what it really meant for the Osage people, the Osage people to have that money and everybody else didn't. Because if you see it, you start to see like this transformation, right? At first, when they were showing everything, they were showing all the Osage people and they was going and buying stuff from stores and they got people working for them and so on and so forth. As the movie's going on and as time is going on, you starting to see now like a whole bunch of different shit. So now like you starting to see the white people move in to certain houses and all the nice houses, the white people, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of them in the neighborhood now. And it wasn't his brother. What was the other dude's name?
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about.
God dang, Bill Smith. Bill.
Oh, I wouldn't think about him. Okay.
Remember he married two of the sisters.
Yeah.
He married Rita and not Anna. Anna was the one that got killed. She was the one that was messing with the brother. Oh, I forgot what the other sister. It was because it was 4 sisters total. I forgot what the other sister was. Minnie. he married Minnie first, and remember Minnie had passed off. And then he ended up messing with Rita after a while. And remember he had took the money from Minnie, and then him and Rita got together, and then him and Rita was living in that brand new house that they bought from the doctors.
Mhm.
So you know what I'm saying? Like it was just crazy to see the way that they was like manipulating and maneuvering, man. Like it's different when you see it in the history books when we learned about how like they was taking land and all that shit. But to see it in action, that shit was treacherous.
Yeah, and then what we had talked about when we, reshuffled the list was like one of the parts that was really. It's not that it wasn't done before, but it. It might have been done worser. And okay, let me rephrase that. I don't want to say it that way. I don't want to compare. Let's just say it's been done before, but they was treated differently. Like they were sleeping and impregnating slaves. You know what I'm saying? Back
Mhm.
then, but that was just more. There was no motive to it. That
Right,
was just
right,
smashing. Oh, you pregnant? All right, whatever. They gonna do the same thing you're doing.
absolutely.
But in this situation, they're like, yo, marry them, have kids with them, and their land will be passed down to the children.
And if you can kill, because remember Blackie, um I forgot what his real name was, but he was marrying them, and he married the one lady who had two kids, and he killed her off. And he was like, "Yo," he was talking to the dude at the bank. He like, "So if I adopt these kids and they happen to die, do everything get left to me?" And the dude was like, "Yo, you telling me that if you adopt these little motherfuckers, you gonna kill them, right?" And he like, yeah, he was like, if I can get him, he was like, but if I can't get him, then I'm not gonna kill him. I'm like, yo, this is crazy.
That was crazy as fuck.
I'm like, fam. I mean, just think about that though. Like, first and foremost, y'all moved them out to this land, right? Y'all pushed them away to this land because y'all wanted the shit that they had. Then you when they get to the land, they find some oil, they get rich. Now y'all want they money. I'm like, fam, leave these folks alone, man.
Yeah,
Like, just
that's
take
that.
your ass on somewhere else. Like, to me, that's just it's bro.
It's
This
rubbing
was
salt in the wound.
man. It's way more than that. This shit is rubbing salt, gasoline, alcohol. Uh, what else burn? Vodka.
Peroxide.
Yeah, like bro. I mean, whatever they could put in the wound, they was infecting the wound at this point. Like, god damn. And it's like, you hear about the colonialism thing and how it worked and what they did, but it's like to see it is on a whole nother level, bro. It's on a
Yeah,
whole nother level. Like that shit was sickening to know that these people just want, what I'm saying? Like these people was living just fine. Soon as y'all get there, y'all steal their land. Then they get this other piece of land. They get rich off this land, even though they didn't give a fuck about being rich at first. Now all of a sudden they get rich. Now y'all want their money, and y'all want their land, and y'all want they head rights, and you know what I'm saying. Like then they getting sick off of eating the bullshit food that y'all eating. Like they was dying from diabetes, bro.
dude. It was.
That's
It's like,
crazy.
yeah, it's crazy. But then also to be like, my thing is, if you're gonna kill people, all right. If you got it set in your mind to kill these people, all
Mhm.
right. But to kill them slowly,
Oh my goodness.
that's a that's a different type of animal. That's
Yeah.
a different kind of sick part of the brain chemistry of like, and then you can't even call it, you nursing her to her death. Like you putting poison in her insulin.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? to slowly and slowly make her sick till the part where she's, you know what I'm saying, just,
Yeah, he
you
was
know,
speeding up the process.
yeah, and then to be to have had two or three. They had two or three kids. I can't remember what it ended up being.
Yeah, they had way more than that.
And to be knowingly making their mother sicker by the day, by the
Yeah.
shot. What do you think of the part where he dripped some of that stuff in his drink and he drunk it? Do you think that was out of guilt? Do you think that he was just feeling guilty?
Absolutely. Because that way, I think that at that point he knew what he was doing. I think that's the point we get to where we realize that Ernest is understanding what's going on, right? And I think that he did that because for him that would have been an alibi. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because if they would have did something, or because I don't even know if they had like toxicology or none of that shit at the time, but you know, if he ends up sick too, then it don't look like him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It looked like they both was on the verge of dying out. You know what I'm saying? Like that, it just the way that they was moving and doing shit, the way that they had that shit moving and shaking was crazy, bro. It was sick. Like,
Yeah, because they didn't care. How can you? It's like
and this and
there's a,
King was somebody who was like he was supposed to be like a family friend.
yeah, but like for just like, oh man, what was Jesse Plummer's name? Uh Tom White. When Tom
Mhm.
White first came, after Molly had to basically beg them to come out there about like, yo,
Right.
there's these unsolved murders that nobody's investigating this shit.
Mhm.
But for him to come out there and say like, yo, like this is a trend, this is an epidemic. It's just not Indian, Native women. That's all it is.
No, it was the men too.
Well, the men too, but like for the most part, it was well. Okay, let me rephrase that. It's Native women that are married to white men,
Oh yeah,
but the
yeah,
white men don't get sick. It's
right.
just the women that's
Mhm.
getting sick,
Mhm.
and it's like they didn't even. It'd be different if it's like a situation where you throw the shit off. Well, there's got to be one soul that's like, you know what? So I don't get caught with this shit. Somebody got to take one for the team. One of
Mhm.
y'all white men gotta die. Like one of y'all gotta die just to throw a monkey wrench in this whole thing. Like they didn't give a shit. They were just like, we're gonna kill this one off. Then you're gonna marry the next one. You marry the next one, and we're gonna make her sick too. And then it's just like, yo, boy, this shit was so wild. And like I said, I didn't do no research on this, but just my opinion, it was so wild, but it felt honest.
I mean it well, so I didn't really do research, but I kind of looked it up as I was watching it, which I tend to do, especially with movies like this. Like I did the same thing with Oppenheimer. Um, it's based on a real historical event, right? So this is some shit that really happened. But it's loosely based off historical event. It's actually based on a book that was written about the historical event. William Hale is a real person. I don't know if Ernest was real, but William Hale is a real person. And he definitely orchestrated multiple murders of Osage people in Oklahoma during that time in order to get, land and oil. Um, what was another interesting point was nigga, they was Masons.
Hmm.
Did you peep that?
No.
Yeah, man. They was Masons. You know what I'm saying? They had a lodge and everything out there. Um, I thought that was interesting. I also thought the situation with the guy Henry, with him and King, the way that they were, you know what I'm saying? Basically King was manipulating him. Like he was like, yeah, this is my best friend, but he talked about how he owe him money, and he took out an insurance policy on him, and he got to keep him alive a little bit longer until the insurance, time is up. So then once that's up, he can do whatever he want. Then Henry talk about offing himself or unaliving himself, and the store clerk sleeping with his wife, and he done went in and fought the store clerk. He done got drunk, and then what I'm saying, he ended up getting murdered. Like, bro, it was so crazy, just like the lengths and whiffs that they went to just to take this shit from these people, bro. Like, this was a diabolical ass movie.
Very.
Like, the way that this shit was orchestrated was crazy. Like, and then he, like, the way that King was planning this shit out, he like, yeah, many already went. It's only 3 of them left, and then the mom, she's on her way out because they only live till 50. So once she's gone, then everything is pretty much gonna get left to her, and then Anna end up dying. So now it's 2, and they like, yeah. So basically everything gets split between them. You got to make sure that you got everything going. Yours is on the way out, so do this and then he like, yo, make sure you sign this paper because I want to make sure that stuff stays in the fam. I'm like, fam, you really doing all this shit for you? That's really all this was. He was doing all of this shit, bro, to put him in position to get all of this shit at the end of the day. And he didn't care who went down or none of that shit, bro.
He didn't give a damn. But the thing is being a snake in their face, sitting there acting like I'm for you, I'm on your side. You know what I mean? Lying through his fucking teeth, yo. And like that's the biggest snake in the grass, man. When it's someone that telling you can trust me, I got you, and all this type of shit. But you know what I'm saying? You dropping poison when they turn their back. You know what I mean? And they drink. Like he was the worst, man.
Man, listen, I've never disliked Robert De Niro so much in my life. I mean, he did a phenomenal job in this movie, bro. Like, goodness gracious, he really held it down. And I think, to me, I feel like without these people in this movie, bro, we wouldn't get this. Like, you don't get this performance with anybody other than who you put in these movies. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit was amazing.
Yeah.
This is a wild ass movie, but it's amazing.
Yeah, man. That's the thing. If you're looking at it from an art perspective,
Mm-hmm.
it is amazing.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it was shot well. It was, I mean, even when you look at the extras that they put in that shit, all of that shit, the story, the way that this shit was written, the way that they put it all together with timelines and you know what I'm saying, the outfits or the costumes, however you may want to call it. All of that shit was on point. But when it comes to Martin, though, Martin usually on point. But then also Martin is a guy, old school. He don't like to cut nothing. And all of this shit was done in such a phenomenal way that when you take away the fact that this is based on a true story, this is some true events that really happened, and this is how fucked up all of this shit really was.
Right.
That makes you look at it from a different perspective. But when you look at it from an art form, oh yeah, they murdered this shit.
They did a hell of a job, man. Even down to like the people who played the Osage people. You know what I'm saying? Like Lily Gladstone, like her, playing sick and just what I'm saying, like the her presence on screen. It was fire. I'm like, yo, I was looking at her. I'm like, I get it. I feel yeah. I'm not mad at Ernest. She all right. You know what I'm saying? She nice. Got a nice little frame on it, thick. I'm like, okay. I powwow with that. You know what I'm with that. Nah, jokes aside though, man. What it's wild, man, to, like I said, for me, it's wild to see this on screen, right? Like, especially for me, because like growing up, my grandmother, she would always have like paintings of natives and stuff around. She would have like native art and stuff in the house because I believe her mother was native. So like for me, it's a little different. It hit a little different. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't come off, you know what I'm saying, like I ain't gonna lie, it was times in this movie, bro, I was like, yo, I really want to whoop this nigga's ass.
I mean, look, but this is the thing. I'm not going to leave Ernest just out. Like he's still a
Him
grown
too.
ass man. He's still a
That
grown ass
whole
man.
family. Let me tell you something. That whole family, bro, I'd have took out and duffed out them niggas.
But what's the name though? Kelsey.
Yeah,
Yeah, fuck that dude.
yeah.
Fuck that dude. He was a piece of shit.
Well,
He was the one. I think what Blackie was. Well, maybe he was Blackie because he was the one that was being interviewed. Like Kelsey was the one that was being interviewed by the cop guy, and they was like,
Blackie was the one who snitched. Kelsey was
yeah,
the one
yeah.
who turned on
Kelsey, he snitched too.
No, that's what I'm saying. Kelsey turned on him, but Blackie was the one who really snitched.
Yeah, yeah. I know which one you're talking about now. Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm talking about Kelsey. Kelsey was the one that was sitting in that damn interview room, where they picked him up coming out of like a bank or some shit, and they was asking him like, yeah, he was like, so you adopted 2 kids? And he was like, yeah. He was like, but I only wanted the 2 kids. If I had murdered them, that I would get their stuff. And it's like, who says that to a law official? Like, yo, these motherfuckers was just saying and doing anything, my guy. But I'm gonna tell you who I felt bad for. Now, granted, he could have said no, but but you could tell he didn't want to do this shit. But I think he feared King Hell, and that was John Ramsey, the old guy with the big ass mustache joint.
Yeah,
he did not want to kill nobody. Like he was like, "Yo, why you come to me with this?"
He was, to me, right? I looked at him like he really was just trying to make a way for him and his family, regardless of what it is. Like he was doing moonshine and all that shit. He was just trying to live. He wasn't on none of that other shit. He didn't give a damn about them people having no money, no nothing. He wasn't with none of that. All he was trying to do was just make it on a day by day basis.
Yeah.
When they start adding him in there, bro, I'm with you. I was like, why are y'all including him in this shit? Like this nigga just trying to get a couple ducats and, you know what I'm saying, keep it pushing.
Yeah.
This nigga was washing a glass bottle when they pulled up on him.
Yo, and then when he found out that, you know, that it was Ernest was the one that ratted on him, he was like, "Are you serious?" And then Ernest kind of gave him that look, and my man said, "Where's the paper? I'm selling everybody out."
Yeah.
He was like, "Man, this is some bullshit." He was thinking like, "Yo, I never wanted to get involved with this shit anyway."
Exactly.
And y'all coming to me saying that y'all need me to do it. But like I said, I think that he was kind of, now, don't get me wrong, he's a grown ass man. But like he was kind of pressured into doing the shit when he never wanted to be involved. And then for him to get ratted on the way he got ratted on, he was like, "Man, are you serious?" So but he was like, "All right, well, I'm gonna do what y'all doing."
Let me tell you something, bro. The way that they did that nigga AC Black, oh my gosh. That you talking about Scorsese bringing some mafia shit to the screen? That was about as mafia as it got. He set that man up with ill intentions and the easiest move ever. He had them go to that store at night knowing dude was gonna be there with the shotgun.
Yep.
And got his goddamn soul lifted. That shit was crazy.
Got his soul lifted.
Yeah, bro, I did not when he shot him with that shotgun, bro, I did not expect that. Because the way, and once again, man, you got to give Scorsese his credit, bro. The way that scene was shot was perfect because you don't even think about him getting killed in this moment. Because I'm thinking, okay, they're gonna break into this store, the police gonna pop up, and they're gonna go to jail. No, they show you from inside the store, them breaking into the store, and all you hear is boom, and you just see him fly back, and then everybody else start running, and then dude come out, he shoot a couple more times, and then that's it. I'm like, bro, that's crazy. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, this is some wild shit, man.
Yeah,
Like it really is. And for look, I haven't seen. I'm not gonna say that like I've seen every fucking Martin Scorsese movie, but you know what I'm saying. All the ones I've seen, you know what I mean. They had similar subject matters,
right.
and this is one of those ones where you know what I'm saying, where he tackled something that I personally haven't seen him tackle, and to do it in the way that he did it, and then you know, to put himself in at the end. I also thought that was genius how they played out in a play type of form
Yeah, that
what
was
ended up
cool.
happening to everybody. I thought
Yeah.
that was dope. And for him to come out and be the last person to read what ended up
Mhm.
happening to Ernest, you know,
Oh man.
that's another thing. Yo, for William Hale and Ernest, both of them to get life in prison, but both of these motherfuckers get out. Like William Hale wasn't even in long. It was something crazy like two
He did
years or
4
some
years.
shit. 4 years.
Yeah, he did like 4 years, and then he got out, and ended up in nurse home.
Yeah, and Ernest.
No. I'm sorry. Ernest did 4 years, and then he got out on parole because he was found innocent and everything.
And then uh Molly ended up getting married, but she died
At 50,
like 4 years later. Oh, it was the
he was
50?
50. Yeah,
Yeah, she ended up dying of diabetes.
that's what. Remember, that's what he said. He said they all die around the time they like 50, and
Yeah,
she was
man,
50
that was
years old when
crazy.
she died.
Yeah, that was man, yo. I
And
thought that
then
was genius.
Ernest and his brother end up living in a trailer park.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Dude, if you think about it, what skills do they have?
I mean,
You know what I'm
shit.
saying?
The motherfuckers get down so be insurance salesman.
Yeah.
As much as them motherfuckers
Wow,
damn
man.
shit. No, but the sad part of all of it is that not only did he lose his wife, not only did he lose his basically his life was fucked up, he lost his
Mhm.
kids, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like this man
But
like lost his kids.
yeah, but that's kind of a casualty that he kind of deserved, man, because he was really
Absolutely.
killing. He was killing their moms. Not now.
You know
Like I
what?
said earlier,
I still don't think, and I'm telling you, up until that time he took that poison too. Up until then, I really think that he thought that he was helping her.
I don't know, man. Because so you think that conversation when King Hill was like, "Yo, put this in her," you know what I'm saying, in her stuff, and like this will help. So you think that he was naive by thinking
He
that
was
putting
naive
that
through this whole
poison in
movie,
there?
though. He was naive through this whole movie. Because
Okay.
if you think about it, the shit that was happening to him every time he went to go talk to King, King was like, "Yeah, I got you. Don't you worry about it." Da, da. And he was believing everything King said, even to the point to remember when he had first got caught up. King was like, y'all go talk to him and let him know, like, they ain't gonna do nothing but fuck him over. And remember, when he went to the lodge and was talking to them, and Brandon Fraser's character was like, "Yo, you killing your uncle." And then his uncle's wife was in there, and she like, "That's not what you want to. You don't want to kill your uncle, do you?" He go out there and what he say? Everything I said was a lie. Everything I said was made up. You know what I'm saying? I told y'all all kind of shit. I ain't even tell y'all the truth. And he ended up taking the fall for it. When really the only thing he had to do was just be like, yeah, it was all my uncle. He orchestrated all this shit. Like if it wasn't for him, A couple of people would have still been alive. Well, really, a lot of people would have still been alive. But he was setting people up to get killed.
Now the wild part, which I mean, when you think 20s, okay, I can see that. But for them to go into the courtroom and for oh man, what was Brandon Fraser's name? Uh,
Um,
um, Brandon
W.S.
Fraser.
Hamilton.
Okay, for him to be like, "Yo, I represent him too," and they were like, "Wait a minute, you can't represent." You know what I'm saying? Your defendant and the witness. So
Exactly.
they had to, do the thing. He was like, well, we need him to, talk to his representatives or whatever. And it's like, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
How the motherfucker that's testifying against his uncle also be representing him, but then at the same time, they can have a private conversation with dude.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That all
That's
that shit was messed
wow.
up, bro. All of that shit was messed up. And you know what I'm thinking about now? Because you just said this. This is the 20s, nigga. Bro, do you know that nigga John Dillinger and them is in Chicago going crazy right now around this time?
Man, look, the 20s was a wild time anyway, because this is when they went through the first Great Depression.
Exactly. And remember, they didn't even show that.
They didn't. They only showed the toaster shit.
Yeah. So I'm like, bro, like this shit is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like thinking about, and that's why I was saying, like, as I was watching it, I'm just thinking about like all of the things that we learned about in history that was happening around this time, bro. Like the 1920s, Chicago had nothing but mafia mob dudes in there. You know what I'm saying? Dillinger and the babyface nigga and you know what I'm saying? All them what's the one nigga that was killing everybody out? The Scarface nigga, him. Uh just it was just a bunch of niggas just in Chicago just running through shit, right? Then you got to think. I'm trying to think of what else happened in the 20s. World War One. They talked a lot about that. Well, not really, but they definitely mentioned World War One because that's where Ernest had came back from. Like you said, he came back from the war.
Well, yeah, and then also the start of the FBI.
Yep.
Also, like I mentioned earlier in the podcast, because Marcus Garvey was really the first person to really start this civil rights shit.
Mm-hmm.
And for, you know, J. Edgar Hoover to pull the move that he pulled on him, basically get this motherfucker locked up on some goddamn a fucking envelope that didn't have
Conspiracy.
nothing to do with nothing because he seen the progression of and the movement of his civil rights part, but then also
Mm-hmm.
having his own import business called Black Star. He was like, yo, this motherfucker is getting too powerful, making too much money. So I'm about to fuck his whole shit up. And that
And the
happened. He
crazy
got
part
arrested
is
in 23.
that's what I'm saying. And the crazy part is the same thing that they did to him they was doing to the Osage people, and they was like, that shit cool and all, but y'all can't do this shit. We can do whatever the fuck we want. We the government. Y'all can't do this shit. I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah, bro, they had a fucking Ku Klux Klan march through that motherfucker, bro.
yeah, like it was nothing.
He went and told that man, he went and told Henry before dude got cool with Henry and killed him. The Klan was talking about protecting you.
Yep,
That's crazy.
yep.
Like, think about that. The Ku Klux Klan is protecting the Indian man in that time. Like, that shit is wild, bro.
Yeah, this is yeah.
That shit is crazy, my nigga. Like, I'm
Oh
because
no.
I'm like I said, I'm just sitting here thinking of this shit. I'm like, bro, and that's why I said when you watch this movie, it'll kind of mess you up because you don't really, especially if you're not paying attention to the timeline, you thinking that this shit is like 1800s. You know what I'm saying? Like cowboys and Indians type shit. No, 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 no. This shit was 1,000 years ago. I'm sorry, 100 years ago. I'm tripping.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, what?
I'm a little amped up, man. This shit is I'm really pissed off. I'm not gonna lie to you. Watching this, I'm telling you, watching this movie pissed me off, bro. But yeah,
It's
this shit was just 100 years ago. Just think about that. Like, nigga, this is in one of our grandparents' lifetime.
Yeah, my grandmother, well, she was born in the 30s.
So like
Born
this
in
shit happened. Well, she was born right after all this shit happened.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if she'd
I
have been a little bit older.
Well, my grandma that I grew up with, she was born in I think 32, and my
Mhm.
other grandma, I think she was born in 31.
Right. So
So yeah,
for me, this would have been around the time of my great grandmother or my great grandmothers, right? Because like my I think my mom's mom was born in 46. I think she came in right after like World War II. But yeah, so it would have to be my great grandmother was probably born maybe in 1920 or in the 20s. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is crazy though, man. Just to see like just the shit that they was getting off was that shit was reckless. I
it
mean,
really
it was
was.
reckless. But let's get into the Fire Flames, man.
Let's do it.
Yoga fire, yoga flame.
So what you giving this joint?
I am giving this, first of all, legend. Well, I ain't gonna say the whole cast was legendary. It's really two legendary figures. Well, you guess you could throw John Lithgow in there. He's been doing this shit for a minute. But the cast was good. I think they did real good with the cast, and I think the writing was phenomenal. I think the way that they shot this was phenomenal. Um, I'm gonna give this a 4.5.
Yeah, I'm there with you.
It was just, and I think what doesn't give it a 5 is just how cruel it was.
Mm-hmm.
He did it in a magnificent way, but it's what I'm saying, but it can't take away from how cruel it was.
Right.
So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
I'm gonna agree with you. The cast was good. I do think though this might be an opportunity for Leo to grab another Oscar. I think De Niro is also gonna be in that mix as well. Scorsese, I mean, when he hit us with The Irishman, I thought, you know, he kind of stand playing safe in that lane. You know what I mean? But for him to, show us what he did with Netflix and then to take that over to Apple and put this out. Whoo, hey,
Yeah.
You talking about a legend? Yo, Scorsese he's killing it, man. But the story was amazing. The writing was phenomenal, man. I mean, like for them to be able to evoke the emotion that they did when I watched this was, and I know it was, this kind of hit home a little bit, but at the same time, it was like, yo, I really fuck with this movie. And then not only that, it taught me something new that I never knew about, and I thought that was, very important. The fact that, not only is this a good movie, but it's, you can get some type of education out of it. I appreciate that all the time. So yeah, I'm gonna go 4.5 as well.
Not mad at that at all.
All right, man. Let's get into the coming soon.
Let's do it.
Coming soon to own on video and DVD.
All right, so our next episode, man, we are going to cover the docuseries, The Curious Case of Natalia Grace.
Natalia Speaks Part 2.
Natalia Speaks.
Season 2. Yeah.
Yeah, basically. For all of you guys that's been listening, we covered Natalia Grace already. We heard the
July
story.
of last year.
Okay. Really?
Yeah, because I told you people are starting to like that the reel that I put up, and it has July. I think it has July the 23rd. I think.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, people are liking it because I think because it's in the news, it's popping up in people's
Mhm.
algorithm.
Yeah, so finally we get to hear Natalia's perspective. Um we get to hear a little bit more about what kind of went on with everything, and man, the story in itself is, I want to say, sad. I mean, it's a sad story, no doubt, but
So still a lot of mystery though, but
yeah, man, I can't wait to watch this because the dad, man, the dad, I'm not a fan of this nigga still. I watched 2 episodes and I'm like, yo, why did y'all bring this nigga back?
no, but you wait, you get. I got one more episode.
Mhm.
I watched 5, and there's one. Yo,
But you know what though? I'm not gonna lie, both of the dads now. I'm not a fan of neither one of them niggas. The preacher nigga, I don't like him. I'm
oh
like,
man,
this
this is gonna
nigga.
be fun.
First and foremost, they sitting there trying to do the interview and ask questions and everything, get information. And this nigga in the back, like, yeah, but don't cuss at. Shut up. You don't know shit about what's going on. You ain't watched the docuseries. You don't know. Get out of here, man. You fucking everything up.
Oh
We trying to
man,
get information. We want to know what's happening. So,
hilarious.
man, dude, just make me sick, man. So y'all stay tuned for that one, man. That's gonna be a good one for sure. It's really gonna be a good one. I think I might have to catch up on the first season too, just to rehash some stuff. Um, yeah. So that's our next episode. Um, we are, whew, man. I'm not gonna say burnt out, but we working. We definitely working.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
For sure, man. Oh, so if you liked this episode, if you didn't like this episode, I'm sorry, if you liked Killers of the Flower Moon, if you didn't like Killers of the Flower Moon, and if you too wanted to whoop on Robert De Niro's ass as much as I did, hit us up on the socials, let us know. Just Instagram, View a Non-Pod. We don't have X anymore. Um, we are planning something different, so y'all stay tuned for that. We're gonna replace X. So Instagram is the place to go. Check us out there for our socials. Um, and you can DM us and everything else on there. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, we just put out an episode this week. Behind the scenes, we're talking about some cool stuff. We're talking about movies that's coming out this year, what we want to see, what we don't want to see. We getting into a nice little list that we found. So it's a great episode. Make sure you subscribe so you can listen. It's only $2.99 a month. Don't miss out. The description is in the link is in the description, so you can click there, you can get it. Also, don't forget, Sunday 7 p.m. I will be starting Reacher season 2 on Twitch. I'll make sure I put that link in the description as well, so you guys could jump in, you could watch it. We could chat it up, you guys could talk to me while we watching it. This will be the only time uh, I will allow people to talk while I'm trying to watch something. So take advantage of this one, because usually I don't even play like that. You know what I'm saying? Um, I'm one of those people that I gotta watch it by myself a lot of times because I don't like people talking while I'm watching the movie. So I'm gonna try to do my best to maneuver back and forth between the chat and the show. So this is gonna be something nice. Y'all make sure y'all jump in, say what's up. We could talk about y'all favorite episodes, or we could talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. And I'm sure we're gonna talk about this show. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me on X. I got a link tree in my bio. You can find me everywhere else there. That's all I got, bro.
And for me, y'all can find me at s.foster8 on Instagram and on X. At 28 minutes or less pod. That's just on IG. Follow the podcast 28 minutes or less. Last episode is still 142, which is best TV shows of 2023. I'm working on a new episode, so be on the lookout for that. But that's all I got, man.
Cool, man. So if you guys would please make sure you subscribe and like and share and follow and everything else with the podcast. Please do. It's a new year. We'd like to see some new faces. We'd like to hear from you guys a lot more. You know what I'm saying? We would like to get a lot more interaction with you guys. So please make sure you comment, like, and share as much as possible. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Your support is always greatly appreciated. And like they say in Hollywood, that's a wrap.
Cut.